Hey guys. Alright, so I know, I don't know, let's actually check. 1 week ago, I posted about a build that I saw with the physical Reign of Vengeance stuff with Donata's Spite, Donata's Revenge. And now I've come to tell you that that build is just outdated all of a sudden. So this definitely isn't my build, but there's like two really meta builds right now that are primarily used by almost, I don't know, if you go look up any of us in the top couple hundred, you're going to see a lot of this build. So it's a pretty simple build, and the reason is it works really well. So I'm going to explain what the build is. I'm going to do a quick run, and then kind of like try to give you a few tips on the way while I'm doing that run. So what the build is basically, it's the same type of thing, Nat's set. With a Nat's helmet, you're using the bow, and with the bow you kinda need this to roll pretty well, or you need your other one to roll really well. Use, since Reign of Vengeance uses your main hand's damage, use the one with the highest average damage in your main hand, which is the left. So, Nat's helm, Nat's cloak, Nat's gloves. For this, like, I like having a little vitality, but sometimes it just doesn't help. When you're in Greater Rift 50 plus, and trust me, if you make this build, practice a little, you will be doing 45 like no other. You'll be doing 46, 7, 8, 9 easily, 50s. Like, you'll have some RNG that puts you behind, but you will be able to do it pretty well. So, on Natalya's Touch, I have reduced cooldown of all skills by 7%. You could go Vite, you could go other things, but it just doesn't seem to help that much, because when you're on those high GRs, that jailer hits you for a million, and a million is more than the vitality you're going to have. So, kind of up to you. Shoulders, just any general shoulders. I roll them Reign of Vengeance for damage. My amulet is Zephyrian, and actually, like, you could have more damage by getting a fire damage amulet or something. My thing is, like, Thunderstorm one-hit KO'd me. Orbiter, if it spawned on top of me, would really hurt me, so I said, fuck it, I'll do this. Now, these are a crux. You need Strongarm Bracers. I actually happened to find these in like the first couple weeks of Ancient Items. I ID'd and I was like, fuck yeah, I'll use them for something someday, and I was right. So they need fire, well, hopefully they have fire damage, dex, vit, and crit chance. And the reason you use them is you'll use Stampede on Reign of Vengeance, and that causes knockback, which procs these. And 25-30% more damage, that's a lot of damage. Now, here are the bread and butter. Focus and Restraint. My Focus and Restraint are actually pretty nice now that I look at them. So, I rolled them Dex, Crit Damage, Crit Chance with a Socket. And these, honestly, you will find a decent amount of these with pretty okay stats. So, just keep farming until you get them. Now, Crashing Rain is way too important to not use. This thing it hits for 10 billion, 12 billion, like, it's ridiculous. Then the other two items are Nat's boots, Nat's legs, and my offhand is Calamity. You can also use Balefire Caster. Like, the guy I watched, or the first guy I saw using this build was like, oh, you can roll out of the damage and use, you know, fire damage, dex, vit, whatever you want to use. But then a lot of people are using high damage offhands, probably because Strafe still does some damage, and so does your focus fire, but like, it's hard to say. I've cleared great rifts without having a off damage, so I'm using Calamity. It seems to be the weapon of choice for people. So far, it seems to maybe do a little better, but it's really close. So, kind of up to you. Make sure this offhand is Calamity or Balefire, though. Should be one of those two. Now, I'm gonna go through. I'll try to kind of. Oh, here. I should do this real quick. Ambush, Call the Weak, Steady Aim, Awareness, Strafe, Rocket Storm, and that's really because the rockets auto aim and hit for you. Reign of Vengeance, Stampede is a must. Wolf Companion is nice. Preparation, Punishment. If you're doing this right, and it takes you a little while to get it down sometimes, you might not really need this that often, but, you know, in case you do. And then you have Smokescreen, Lingering Fog, and Evasive Fire Focus for regeneration. Now, before we go in, I'm going to say, it is imperative that your stuff is up. Like, Strafe will proc Restrain or Focus, the set, and so will Focus Fire. Now, when you're going through, I like to do this because it actually, you really won't run out. You just keep fire, hold down the click, and I press focus fire every so often. And make sure you're hitting them because it does reasonable damage when you have Naz proc up, but also it keeps up your restraint focus proc so that you're doing more damage than, you know, not. So I'll run through a, I don't know, I'll just do a 46, not too high. I just want to try and get through here before it takes too long and hopefully show you how to do this. It's pretty easy. I mean, make sure you're hitting them. You really, really need to hit them on the head to get that huge damage out there. But once you do, I mean, like 6 billion, 5 billion on these white mobs. This is without full proc from Taeguk. You actually hit even higher on elites because you have elite damage. Like, that proc is amazing. Once Calamity is on them, 20% more damage from that, so... Reflect is probably the worst thing in the world for you. In these low GRs, you can at least get away with it, but in higher GRs, it's just, it doesn't happen. It's really hard. They kill you so quickly. Like, you can, but I don't suggest trying to take them on. When we were doing team greater rifts, it was just bad. Like, we ran into one of these reflect mobs, and I couldn't kill them fast enough. They just destroyed us. We were in a 54, and we would have totally cleared that, not easily, but we would have definitely done it. But unfortunately, we spent way too long on them, and yeah, see, that's what happens when you have the reflect. Plus, I got hit by that guy. I don't really care about dying so much. I'll get through here. It's just really annoying sometimes. Anyway, so like I said, make sure you're hitting him on the head with that. It hits so hard, you cannot ignore it. I'm just gonna skip the rest of these and go on to this pack up here, because Jesus. One thing, you will have to really get used to dying. Like, if you are like me and too, I don't know what the word is. I just like to run forward. I'm too headstrong, maybe. I mean, I do die a lot. I die a lot more than I should, especially in these low greater rifts, because I'm not really trying as hard to not die. Because, I mean, I know I'll get through it, but, you know, whatever. So keep up that strafe. Keep up Taeguk. Like, 67 stacks for me. I actually need to level up my gyms further, but it's a lot of damage. I mean, when you're dealing with 20-30% damage at a time differences, you have to keep that up. Same thing with, like, steady aim. Fuck! With steady aim, I get too close to things sometimes, not really paying attention. The only time I really suggest getting close to things when you're doing this is when you're when you have like a shield pylon. It's like, granted, yeah, I know you lose damage by doing that, but you never really miss. I mean, I don't know. Maybe most people wouldn't tell you to do that, and maybe I shouldn't be telling you to do that, but I do it. It's both a little lazy and a little easy, but you know, kind of do whatever you should do. I'm hoping to get a conduit pylon here. It's actually a really sweet pylon. Channeling, I think, is probably the best pylon I can find. Power pylon is really good, and conduit is really, really nice for catching up your bar. With this build, you will get huge ticks with conduit. So you're hitting them with Rain of Vengeance, that's doing 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 billion against elites, and then that conduit's hitting them for a billion at a time, and damn, that knockback. And it gets pretty ridiculous. It's really nice, really helpful to have those pylons. There's not a single pylon that I don't like finding. I mean, I'd rather have the power pylons and the conduits and the channelings, but when I do find speed, it's still nice because it lets you get away. Like, anything you can do to help you survive more is something you should be trying to do. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh, get that orb. A couple quick tips on here. When you're getting into the, just like rifts in general, if you're trying to get higher up in rifts and stuff, trying to climb those leaderboards, do not, if you can help it, skip these white mobs that actually count towards your bar. There are some mobs, like Accursed, are just ridiculous because they add nothing to your bar, but they can still one-shot you, which it really, really sucks. But things like Unburied, like, oh man, I never skip these. Killing these is extremely easy because it's like killing an elite with no powers. It gives you a % of your bar. Actually, it might give you more, like 1.5, and that's just too much to let go of. So I pretty much never skip those. If I see a room that's just full of white mobs, I will take that room out. When you're playing with this build, you're going to want to hit them with Stampede and knock them back. Not only for that proc, but it keeps you out of harm's way. It's really hard to catch up when you fall too far behind in a higher rift. So, like, the best you can, just kill everything you can. If you do find yourself falling behind, try to work it so that you're leading them into hallways and stuff. You'll see on this, like, it's really easy to hit all of these things because they're in one place and they get knocked back together. So when it's like that, really helpful, really nice. Your best maps with this build are probably the linear maps where you have like sewers. Sewers are amazing. They can be a bitch sometimes because the density isn't as high as you would wish, but they are really nice to just kind of push things back into a corner. And when they can't hit you and you can do all the damage in the world to them, it works out really well for you. Alright, so these guys are going to give me a pretty decent percent, like very easy mobs so far. I had that one reflect one that was kind of annoying, but anything with health link and stuff against this build is amazing. Like, it is so easy to use. So if you do pick this build up, keep in mind, like, it's not hard or anything like that, but do keep in mind, it took me a little bit to kind of figure out everything I was doing. Like, I remember the first time we watched a video on this build, and the friend was like, I don't care, I don't know why he cares about focus fire. Then I realized, well, with the 400% damage from Nats, plus all of the, plus, like, the fact that you keep up restraint and focus, like, it's actually really helpful. So when you kill bosses, just use your wolf companion as much as you can, and I hate angels, but hit them on the head. These guys will take huge damage. Let's see, 8 billion crit right there. You'll get them down to, like, that 10 billion, and normally, you know, you're using another build, you're going to be like, ah, damn, 10 billion, that's still a lot. With this build, hell, you're hitting them with restraint, or you're hitting them with focus fire, hitting them with strafe. Your Rain of Inches is coming off cooldown. That 10 billion is gonna. Oh, I hate angels. That 10 billion damage can be one shot. That can be like 3 seconds away. So, you know, I'm gonna res. Yeah, you know, do stuff. Come on. Alright. So, you know, finish this guy. God, I hate angels. They just... Oh! And, like, it's embarrassing to do that, but... God, it's just annoying when they charge you like that. Like, damn, son. I mean, by now you've learned everything you're going to. I just want to finish the damn rift. Don't go. Alright, I wanna 50. I'm still in 50 range, I think. There we go. Not bad. Got some stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much all there is to this build. I just kind of wanted to... I mean, like I said, I didn't make this build up or anything, and it's out there, but in case you haven't seen or in case you watch my channel for stuff, for Demon Hunters, this is probably the build that you should be working towards if you can't find... Like, I've been hunting down Ancient Cridershot to try another build out for weeks. I have found hundreds of legendaries and not seen a single one. It's really annoying. Anyway, guys, alright, so hopefully maybe I gave you an idea to try this build out. I mean, climbing the ladders with Demon Hunters is extremely fun, I think. I have fun with it. I hit like 200 something last night. I did a 52. I did a 53. I was like 10 seconds out from completing it. This build can carry up to 55, 56. If you get good RNG, even higher. So anyway, guys, alright, have fun. Try stuff out. Don't be afraid to come back and bitch at me if I told you wrong. And I'll check you later.